Have you ever sat in class, wanted to speak up, but feared your friends would laugh? Gone to work with a strong idea, only to let a coworker say it first and get the credit? Stood before strangers and just saying hello felt your face burn and your palms sweat? Everyone has. That's insecurity. It keeps you quiet when you should speak. It makes you force a smile when you're disrespected. It turns you into the person in the back, even when you have the ability to step to the front. And the pain lingers. You go home and replay the moment you stayed silent. You tell yourself, if only I were more confident. Then tomorrow the same scene repeats. You keep yielding, you keep missing the moment. Meanwhile, the confident are different. Their hearts race too. They feel fear too. But they stand tall. They speak little, clearly, and the room listens. They don't have to shout. They only have to be. Do you want to switch roles? From the one being overrun to the one the room waits for? From the overlooked to the center of gravity without trying so hard? This video gives you the answer, but you need to watch to the end. This isn't a bag of tricks, it's a system. Skip a piece and you won't get the whole. You'll keep repeating, if only. No more, if only. Only this is the moment. No more insecurity. Only confidence. 1. Confidence redefined. Real confidence isn't loud. It doesn't beg for praise. It doesn't perform. The weak are showy. The strong are still. The loud are predictable. They lay all their cards on the table. Every forced smile, every explanation is a crack. They think more words build credibility. Wrong. More words expose nerves. The still don't need to flaunt, don't need to justify. They're hard to read, hard to strike. People don't know what they're thinking, don't know the next move. That uncertainty creates weight. Simple example. In a meeting, 10 people fight to talk. High pitch, rapid words. One person sits quiet, eyes forward, never cutting in. When he speaks, the room goes silent. Not because he's loud, because his silence beforehand forced everyone to wait. Lesson. Value isn't in volume, it's in scarcity. When you speak less, each word weighs more. When you hold tempo, others march to it. This is the core of real confidence. Not faking calm, but creating presence that needs no proof. To do that, you must grasp another rule. Attention is currency.
2. Attention is currency. Every reaction costs you. Every explanation is an invisible invoice. The insecure pay constantly. Anyone pokes, they react. Anyone doubts, they explain. They think they're defending honor. In reality, they're opening their wallet and funding the other side. And the other side gets more expensive by the minute. Common mistake, explaining to prove you're right. Each explanation admits your value must be adjudicated. You place yourself under the court of opinion. You grant others the power to judge. The wise keep quiet, not because they're weak, but because they know the cost of each reaction. They know attention is money. They spend only where returns are certain. Example. In a debate, someone hurls a personal jab. The insecure fire back, loud, frantic, trying to reclaim face. The more they talk, the more they lose frame. The rest of the room merely watches and smirks. Another person gets poked and says nothing, just looks, then stays silent. The attacker keeps swinging, overreaches, and exposes himself. Who lost status? Not the quiet one. Lesson. Words aren't free. They burn credibility. The wise choose silence to keep capital. The foolish spend it all for a flimsy moment called being proven right. Understand the value of silence, and you'll see, stillness isn't just a shield, it's a blade. That's the shield of stillness. Stillness isn't empty space, it's a signal, a shield, a weapon. When you sit steady, others get uneasy. They wait for your reaction. They guess your thoughts. They start talking more than they should, and in that excess, they expose themselves. Simple example. In a negotiation, you hold 10 seconds of silence after they name a price. They can't stand the gap. They assume you're dissatisfied. They drop the price, add perks, and tilt the table by themselves. You didn't push, you just stayed still. That's the power of stillness. It forces others to fill the void, but they don't fill it with strength. They fill it with worry, fear, and insecurity. All you do is observe. Stillness shields you from exploitation. No words, no handholds. Stillness is also a weapon. It creates invisible pressure and makes the other side move first. The one who moves first under tension usually makes the mistake. Lesson: when you're quiet, you're not absent. You're building an invisible wall. Others run into it and bruise themselves. You don't need to attack. You only need to hold. But stillness isn't only defense. It can turn into psychological offense. That's the psychological warfare of non-reaction.
4. The psychological warfare of non-reaction. The easy to trigger are easy to defeat. One insult, one contemptuous look, one tiny prod, they explode, lose frame, lose value. The non-reactive are different. They're cold steel. Every blow glances off. No openings, no emotion to grab. That's psychological warfare. You don't strike, they tire themselves out swinging at air. Frequent mistake, confusing silence with apathy. People who fake "I don't care" get sidelined, they vanish from the board. That isn't power, that's erasure. True nonchalance isn't quitting, it's intentional silence. You see the bait, you recognize it, and you choose not to bite. Not because you feel nothing, but because you control your response. Example: in a team meeting, someone jabs at you in front of the boss. The hot-headed person fires back and derails the room. The still person gives a thin smile, makes a note, and continues. The jabber whiffs and reveals pettiness. You keep the high ground. Lesson: not reacting isn't losing. It's a slow grind on your opponent's nerves. They unravel. You remain intact. But to turn non-reaction into a weapon, you must know when to cut. That's timing is the blade. 5. Timing is the blade. Don't react now. Cut only when needed. Steel doesn't flail. It strikes once, on time. Silence held too long can look like weakness, but reacting too fast is surrendering yourself. Power lives in choosing the moment. Use a simple matrix. Low risk, low reward. Stay silent. Don't waste breath. Low risk, high reward. Speak short, clear, final. High risk, low reward. Absolute silence. Wait for better ground. High risk, high reward. Prepare deeply. Choose the moment. Strike once. Example: a leader in crisis. Bad news breaks. Everyone demands a response. He stays silent for 2 days. The team jitters. Rivals think he's weak. Then he appears with one brief, sharp statement. Crisis solved. Authority higher than before. People realize the silence wasn't impotence, it was preparation. Lesson: timing turns ordinary words into a blade. React early and you expose your weak points. Wait, then cut clean. You become truly dangerous. Once you master timing, you'll see silence isn't just personal technique, it reshapes the whole board. That's strategic silence in real arenas.
6. Strategic silence in real arenas. Silence is tactical when used in the right arena. Business: silence after the contract offer carries weight. The other side waits for your reaction and can't stand the vacuum. They sweeten terms to fill it. You don't haggle, they haggle with themselves. Romance: silence in the face of a little test shows you can't be manipulated. They wanted control in a flustered chase. Your calm refusal reveals their need for validation, flipping the balance. Leadership. When fires break out and people panic, the one who stands still becomes the anchor. Teams gather around that calm. Trust flows there, not because he does more, but because he doesn't shatter. Common mistake: silence in the wrong place, wrong time. Stay quiet when opportunity must be seized, and people call you passive. Stay quiet when you must own a mistake, and they call you weak. Silence isn't always power. It's power only when chosen for the right moment and battlefield. Lesson: silence is a double-edged blade. It can elevate you to the center or cut you out of the circle. Strength lives in selection. To wield it well, you need an internal tool, not just outer tactics, but inner discipline. That's where Ho'oponopono certification enters.
7. Product Bridge. Ho'oponopono certification. External strategy only works if the inside is steady. You cannot hold powerful silence if your mind is noisy. If you want calm, you must learn to clear the static in your head. That's why I introduce Ho'oponopono certification. It's not just an online course, 7 hours of video and guided material. It's a method refined by Dr. Joe Vitale and Dr. Hel Len to release negative emotions, clean the inner self, and build true calm. With practice, you won't just project outer silence, you'll embody inner strength. The price now? Only $39 instead of $397, with a 60-day money-back guarantee. A small investment, a massive shift from insecure to self-controlled. If you want to make silence your weapon, both outward and inward, this is the first step.
8. Mystique and projection. Silence creates a gap, and human nature hates gaps. They must fill it with fear, desire, speculation. Hold silence, and people start writing stories in their own heads. What does he know? What is he planning? How dangerous is he? That fog of uncertainty turns you into a legend in their eyes. You don't prove. They crown you with power themselves. Common mistake: oversharing. People who dump every thought become predictable. They believe transparency builds trust. In reality, excess transparency makes you ordinary. No one wonders about you. No one chases mystery. Your value collapses. Lesson: become a puzzle. People don't stop until they solve puzzles. They'll keep circling you, keep projecting, keep exposing themselves, while you remain unreadable, intact. Mystique isn't deception, it's preservation, keeping a part of you unshown. That unshown part becomes psychological leverage. But mystery alone isn't enough. You must know the pitfalls where nonchalance fails. That's next. Common pitfalls of nonchalance. 9. Common pitfalls of nonchalance. Every weapon has a back edge. Nonchalance too. Too much silence leads to paralysis. You're not seen as calm. You're seen as useless. People stop expecting from you, stop including you. You vanish from the board. Too much coldness makes you quietly hated. They may respect you to your face, but plot against you behind closed doors. Coldness alone doesn't build loyalty, it builds distance. Too much masking kills intimacy. At work or in love, no one trusts a person who never bleeds. They need to see you see them. Example: a boss who never praises. He keeps the cold mask for authority. At first, employees fear him. Later, they lose trust. They work just enough to finish, no loyalty. He holds the frame, but loses the team. Lesson: cold on the battlefield, warm in the camp. In war, silence is steel. In your circle, warmth is glue. The wise know when to wear the mask and when to drop it. To pull that off, you need inner discipline, not instinct, training. That's the discipline behind the mask.
10. The discipline behind the mask. Nonchalance isn't natural, it's trained. It's nervous system discipline. You can't just fake calm. Fakes leak, eyes twitch, voice cracks, breathing shakes. People see it, the mask shatters. To be truly calm, you must train the body, drill the nerves to take pressure. When the inside is still, the outside stands firm. Tools. Box breathing. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds, exhale 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds. Repeat. Keep rhythm in stress. Silence exposure. In meetings, sit silent for 60 to 120 seconds before speaking. Train under the eyes. Urge surf journaling. Write every time you feel the impulse to react. Watch it. Don't act. Let it pass. Mistake. Thinking a frozen face is enough. Wrong. Freeze the face while chaos runs inside. It leaks. The wise train until silence becomes reflex, not a performance, a baseline. Lesson. The mask lasts only when mind and body align. When both are still, you cannot be broken. And once you have inner discipline, you reach the final stage, becoming the immovable center, the unreadable center. 11. The end game, the unreadable center. The end goal isn't winning arguments, it's owning rhythm. The end goal isn't being the loudest, it's being the quiet one who makes the whole room's heartbeat change. Ordinary people win exchanges. Dangerous ones tilt the entire table, not by talking more, but by not needing to. When you become the still center, every gaze orbits you. When you don't react, others recalibrate. When you hold your rhythm, the world is forced to match it. That's the unreadable center. No one knows what you think. No one can predict what you'll do. That uncertainty turns into gravity. Closing. The still don't just win the battle. They write the rules of the game. Not once, but forever.